Hey, what's up, guys? This is Travis from Washed Up Media, and I'm sitting here with Trevor from Unearth. How the hell are you, dude?
Doing well, man. It was a good show today. It's been an awesome tour, so
awesome.
Having fun.
Good shit, man. So, this is, I mentioned this before, just before we started, but this is kind of like a surreal moment for me because my first metal show when I was 15 was Unearth. I'm 28 now. I want to talk about your first metal experience, which I believe was Clash of the Titans tour.
It was.
Mansfield, Massachusetts.
It was.
'Cause I'm just guessing, just based on all the stops that they made. So that was
1991.
1991, Anthrax and Slayer, or Megadeth and Slayer, rather.
Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer.
So that show, was that when you realized that this is what you wanted to do? Like, how was that experience for you? Like, your first show, period, if I believe.
I mean, that kind of sealed the deal. I'd been singing to my Testament tapes at that point because my dad got me a guitar when I was like 11 or 12, and I didn't have the patience for it, really. I like just strumming power chords, but I didn't have the patience to get any good, and I had too many other things going on, and so then I just popped in my Testament tape, and with a cheap mic, I sang through my little 6-inch Gorilla amp, and I was like, wow, I can actually kind of do this. Ever since I was a little kid, I would mimic my Kiss records. I would have I play air guitar and sing to Kiss albums to my parents, and for some reason I found that's what I want to do. That and sports were my two passions.
That makes sense. I mean, Boston City champions.
Yeah, so I love baseball, and that was a passion that I wanted to pursue. But music kind of took me, in this direction, and I've loved it ever since. But yeah, that concert was awesome. Alice in Chains opened up before they were even a known band.
That's awesome.
They just released the first video, which is "We Die Young," which is like a live video.
Yeah.
Before the actual real video came out, so they were just getting fresh in the scene. So that was a pretty amazing concert. My dad took me and my girlfriend at the time, my best friend. It was quite the first concert experience. I took my daughter for the first time to see us at Warped Tour.
Wow, that's awesome.
Only 5 years old. She had big earmuffs on, and it was a special moment to see her.
That's sick, dude. So it's kind of like full circle for you almost now.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. So just sticking with Boston, what are some hidden treasures or like things people might not know about that you have to check out? I know that you have lived all over Massachusetts, but you've basically been like a T-ride away from downtown Boston at any given moment.
Well, 5 years ago, I got a house out about an hour away from Boston, so I spent a lot less time in the city. But
Gotcha.
we all grew up in the North Shore, so for me, the hidden gems are the North Shore.
Gotcha.
So towns like Salem, Lynn, Wakefield, Melrose, they're only 5 to 12 miles away from Boston, but it has some of the best food I've ever had. I mean, we have the sandwich. It's this roast beef sandwich that you can only find it in the on the North Shore, pretty much.
Yeah.
The bowling we have is different. It's not big ball bowling. It's not even duck bowling. It's called candlepin.
Yep, candlepin bowling.
There.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You can't find it anywhere else. So it's got its own unique personality in that the part of the state, and even it bleeds a little bit into New Hampshire as well, like in the southern part. But yeah, it's just that's where we came from. That's our forever home.
Kind of just within the same vein, I know that you're a beer dude. We're kind of in the middle of a craft beer revolution. They're opening new breweries almost, every weekend, it feels like. If you're in Boston, what type of beer should you check out? Or if you're in Massachusetts?
There's a lot of great breweries in Mass right now. There's one called Castle Island, which is awesome. They do a lot of different IPAs, double IPAs, and other crafts as well. But that's my flavor, is the single or double IPA. Night Shift Brewery is another great one. Jack's Abbey. There's a whole bunch, but it is a craft beer revolution, because years ago I wasn't much of a beer guy. We would drink Miller Lite, we would focus on whiskey, or when I was home I would drink wine. But as soon as actually good beer started being produced, then I was like, man, I started having too many, started gaining some weight, so I've had to peel them back a little bit, so I had to cut back a few pounds. But it's so delicious, man, and you can just kind of chill and have a meal and have one or two, and it's awesome.
A lot of those, that was about you, but now kind of switching gears into the band. So we just heard Incinerate just came out. You guys just signed to Century Media. Amazing track, just
Thanks,
awesome, very reminiscent of like the first Unearth album, I feel like.
Right.
So just with the people that you're working with now, I know that you worked with Shane Frisbee for vocals, I believe.
Well, I did most of the record with Will Putney.
With Will Putney, yeah.
At Shane's studio.
I gotcha.
So at the Brickhead House.
Brickhead House, yeah.
So Will was there for, I think, 10, 11 days, and I got most of the record done, but there was still a few tracks to do, and so Will was still the producer. He would produce from afar, so I would track with Shane, and then we'd send him the tracks, and Will would say, "Yeah, that's awesome," or let's do a different take here. So it was like he had other things, other records, but Shane's studio was awesome. Will was amazing to track with. It was our first time going with him. Nick flew out to Adam's place in California and tracked the drums with Adam.
Sick, that's awesome.
And then Buzz and Chris, our bass player, tracked guitars with Will, and Ken tracked his own stuff in his own studio.
Awesome. So would you say, like, lyrically, as far as Extinctions go, how your writing process, how has it different, like, how is it different this time around compared to your other releases? I
always go the same route. I mean, I just when after a record gets released, I'll just put in my notes. Before I used to carry a notepad. This is before cell phones or, like, smartphones. But now on the smartphone, I'm gonna have an idea, whether it's a line, whether it's just a topic. It could be a full verse. I'll just jot it down in the 2 or 3 years we have between records, and then when it's time to write the songs, I find which song inspires me in that mode. If a certain song gives me a certain vibe, yeah, I tend to attach a topic to it. If it was whatever I feel. And, so then that's how I go about it. And I mean, a lot of it's social stuff about environmental things, about just the world today, and a lot of it's just personal stuff as well, so it's kind of varied.
Definitely, that makes sense. I noticed, I felt like this one was inspired by a lot of what you said was happening right now in the world, the political landscape,
especially
social landscape, the idea of incinerating the tyrants and stuff like that. So exactly. But I love that song, man. It's just great song.
Yeah, there's a lot about the environment in the record as well, so environment's getting a bit warmer, and I don't think we're paying enough attention to it. So I say it all in the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of it and, like, divulging really into that, because I'm like a lyrics guy. That's like something that I always look to. I want to know exactly what they're saying. You know what I mean? And try to figure out.
I put an extraordinary amount of my effort into lyrics. So I hope they're good. I hope people dig them. But it's a major. A major fixation of mine. I get really stressed about it because I want to make sure it comes off as well as I can come off.
Definitely, man, and it shows. It definitely shows.
Appreciate it.
So my last question, really, I have to kind of like give you props and congratulate you, because you're in the 20th year of being in this powerhouse band, and I'm really just wondering, do you have any advice that you would give to bands up and coming now, what they have to do to kind of get that longevity and keep it and be able to continue touring, continue putting out new content and keeping it fresh, you know what I mean?
To stay fresh, you need to stay inspired. You have to be, stay a fan of music. I feel like on a couple of our records, we weren't as inspired by new music. I like the records a lot, and I wouldn't change a thing. I feel like we stayed too inspired with what we came up with. So on this new record, I feel like we fell back in love with new music, and I think that really helped. It's going to set this record apart. I think it's because of some different sounds in this record. It peels back to our early days, but also mixes some other sounds in there as well. And it's I think people will be surprised by some songs on there. As far as touring goes, stay as healthy as you can. Mix the party with being professional. So have as much fun as you can, but stay healthy, and make sure you don't fuck up too much. Be friendly to people. Buzz heard this before. He says it to kids as well. It's like be friendly to the people that you meet on the way up, because you're gonna have to ask for favors on the way down. Because music is literally like this. It's a roller coaster. Some years you're hot, some years you're not. And if you can stomach those ups and downs and just keep on pushing through and show your passion in your songs and your live show, then you should stick around.
That's solid advice, man. Awesome. Dude, I can't thank you enough for this interview. I've really enjoyed myself, so enjoy the rest of Warped Tour. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and we're looking forward to new records. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.